Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Rockford's Midtown district becomes a crime scene. Investigators provide details on a broad daylight car-to-car shooting.
A year and a half into it, and at this point we should have a choice.
State line parents speak out. The group hopes to gain the attention of the Winnebago County Health Department on the topic of students wearing masks.
And the remains of a Rock County service member missing for 7 decades are brought home. The Airman's community pays their respects for one of their own. Good evening, I'm Hannah Zettel.
And I'm Alexis Carpello. Eric and Mimi are off tonight.
Bullets fly through the heart of Rockford's Midtown district, shutting down traffic for blocks and sending 3 to the hospital this morning.
I was on scene today where a car involved in the shooting flipped on its roof. Business owners just a block away from the investigation say the reckless actions are concerning.
We were here at the coffee bar, and next thing we know, we started hearing sirens.
Moments later, Heather Ashcraft says police rushed past her front window.
1 cop car, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4.
Katie's Cup, located on 4th and 7th Street, was just a block away from Friday's car-to-car shooting.
We're on a main route, so the ambulances and the police cars, that's a normal thing, but this was very much out of the ordinary. When we saw them turn onto 4th Avenue, towards 6th Street and stop, we knew something serious had happened.
Rockford Police Assistant Deputy Chief Robert Reffett tells us around 11 Friday morning, patrol officers were making a routine traffic stop at 4th and 6th Streets.
The officers heard 2 vehicles coming south on 6th Street, and they could hear gunfire coming. As 2 vehicles passed by them, shots were still being exchanged.
Authorities say the shooting started at East State and 6th Street.
One of the vehicles crashed on 6th Street, just behind me here. The other vehicle continued south on 6th Street.
3 people were taken to the hospital. 2 have serious injuries. Police don't know yet if both vehicles were shooting at each other, but at least 1 person opened fire.
We are concerned. There are so many people here, right here in the Midtown district. I mean, I'm a mom. I have a staff here. I'm always concerned about what could possibly happen, and you do have to keep your wits about you and keep your awareness up when you're in the neighborhood. But I think that's true for everywhere you go.
Rockford police are still gathering more evidence for a potential suspect. We'll update you once they share more details with us.
A Chicago police officer has been cited after hitting and killing a boy riding his bicycle while the officer was driving. 9-year-old Herschel Weinberger was riding home on his bike Wednesday. He was crossing West Chase at Sacramento when the officer's truck hit him. Fraternal Order of Police President John Catanzara says the officer didn't see the boy. He also says the 48-year-old officer took a breathalyzer test that was negative. The child was taken to St. Francis Hospital in Evanston, where he passed away.
Parts of Route 54 are shut down this evening after a truck carrying olive oil overturns. It happened this morning in Farmer City. IDOT responded to the gas station where the spill took place and soaked up the olive oil using salt and sand. Despite cleanup efforts, some of the ingredients spread onto the road. Police diverted traffic for several hours to avoid any accidents. Investigators say olive oil can stick to your tires even after cleaning them.
Crews are close to wrapping up the recovery operation at the site of the collapsed condo building in Florida. 6 more victims have now been identified. 97 people are confirmed dead, and there are just a handful of people still missing. Workers have moved more than 26 million pounds of debris and concrete as they search for remains. A judge approved the sale of the property on Wednesday. Proceeds will go to the families of the victims of the disaster. Investigators have not yet determined a cause. 3 employees of a Branson, Missouri tour boat company face 63 felony charges stemming from a deadly accident in 2018. The wreck happened on Table Rock Lake during bad weather. 17 people aboard the duck boat died. Those charges are employees with the company Ride the Ducks, including the boat captain, general manager, and the manager on duty. Authorities accuse the captain of failing to exercise his duties by taking the duck boat out during a thunderstorm. Among those killed were 9 members of an Indianapolis family. Other victims came from Missouri, Illinois, and Arkansas.
Packaged salad produced in Rochelle is linked to a multi-state salmonella outbreak. The Bright Farms products were sold in Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Indiana. The salads have a best by date of July 29th. 8 people have been infected. Salmonella symptoms usually show up 6 to 72 hours after being exposed, and it can include diarrhea, fever, and nausea. If you have it in your fridge, the CDC says you should toss it out. Any surfaces or containers that may have come in contact with the salad should also be washed with hot and soapy water. You can find a full list of the recalled products on mystateline.com. Rockford City officials announced the dates of upcoming question and answer sessions with who could be the city's next police and fire chiefs. The sessions are meant for candidates to introduce themselves to the community by discussing their backgrounds and goals. Police applicants will speak July 28th, while fire department candidates will have the floor August 4th. Each session will be held online and begin at 5 p.m. Email your questions for the events by July 22nd. Find more on that using the My State Line app.
A battle of the badges comes to an end. Rockford police had the most blood donated on their behalf during a contest held at the Rock River Valley Blood Center. The department pulled 166 donations in. The cops went up against Rockford firefighters, who secured 115 donors. The blood comes during a dry spell at the Rock River Valley Blood Center, which happens every summer. Donations made at the center stay local. Altogether, the first responders will potentially save more than 840 lives.
Rockford parents and students expressed concerns about the upcoming school year. A group of demonstrators gathered outside the Winnebago County Health Department. The calls for relaxing COVID guidelines filled the air. Kids and parents held signs reading "Let our smiles free" and "Unmask our children." One local mom tells us her children suffered at school last year due to face coverings.
Not only are we depriving them of the social interaction that we need as a whole, I mean, we're pack animals where you're supposed to be around other people, but we're also depriving them of the fresh air that's around us.
The CDC recommends unvaccinated students wear a mask. The Winnebago County Health Department says it's up to each school district how to form guidelines.
A lost Air Force service member comes home. The remains of Airman Edward J. Miller are back in Rock County today after nearly 70 years missing in action. November 22nd of 1952, the Evansville Natives crew was crashed onto a remote mountain range in Alaska. The crash site was discovered in 2012, and a military recovery team has been working to identify those who perished. Miller's remains are currently on their way back to Evansville, where community members are expected to pay their respects. We'll have more on the service members' procession tonight on Eyewitness News at 9 and 10.
As COVID cases, hospitalizations, and deaths continue to surge, the White House COVID-19 response team issues an urgent warning to the nation.
Their message: get vaccinated. Washington correspondent Jessie Tenura joins us with the latest as she keeps you connected to the nation's capital.
Good evening. The White House is now calling COVID-19 the pandemic of the unvaccinated and is doubling down on its efforts to get reluctant Americans to take the shot.
They're killing people.
President Biden, on his way to Camp David, attacked social media companies for allowing users to spread misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines.
Look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated, and they're killing people.
The White House COVID-19 response team reported cases, hospitalizations, and deaths continue to rise in states with low vaccination rates.
Each COVID-19 death is tragic, and those happening now are even more tragic because they are preventable.
This week, U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy issued a rare Surgeon General's advisory on the dangers of Americans choosing fiction over fact.
Simply put, health misinformation has cost us lives.
Jeff Zients, the White House COVID-19 response coordinator, reports just 4 states accounted for nearly half of this week's cases,
with 1 in 5 of all cases occurring in Florida alone.
But states are starting to respond to the recent outbreaks. Those with the highest case rates also had a higher rate of new vaccinations compared to the national average.
Do it for yourself, your family, and for your community.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky urged Americans to actively encourage their loved ones and friends to get the vaccine. And even though a lot of the measures to combat the pandemic, like mask wearing, have turned political, Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill this week reiterated that getting vaccinated is bipartisan. In Washington, I'm Jessie Tenor.
Now, your first warn weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, good evening. Welcome back. It is a Friday evening, and you know what that means. City Market is ongoing here in downtown Rockford. We will be here every Friday night. You know, the great thing about City Market, it takes place every Friday evening, begins at 3, runs until 8:30 here. Things are different. You come down one week, you come down the next week, you're going to see something different. The band is different. It's kind of groovy. There we go. Yeah, it's a beautiful night too here this evening. A little on the cloudy side, but we've had some peaks of sunshine, and that trend of clearing is something that'll continue as we go through this evening. Hey, let's take you across State Street, I should say, with our Mercy Out Skytrack camera now over downtown Rockford. The crowd is picking up. You don't have to worry about any rain this evening as temperatures are fairly comfortable. Still a little sticky at times with those dew points still in the low to mid 60s, but temperatures right now in the mid and upper 70s. We've got the cloud cover and that northeasterly wind. The wind direction kind of key in bringing down that dew point temperature. So we hang on to that northeast breeze. It will lighten up just a little bit as we go through the night tonight. Satellite and radar for us this evening shows the cloud cover overhead, but some clearing off to the north and to the northwest. The clouds, a result of an area of low pressure and a cold front that's been responsible for showers and thunderstorms both yesterday and today, but all the rain activity for today staying down to the south. Now that front will kind of linger over the weekend, and that may give us an isolated shower or two tomorrow afternoon. But for tonight, temperatures will be fairly comfortable. We've got the cloud cover clearing a little bit to the northwest, kind of thinning out just a bit. Temperatures down around 60 degrees. Tomorrow, we make it back into the low 80s. Could actually see some patchy fog later tonight and very early tomorrow. Skies will turn partly cloudy for the afternoon. We've got an isolated shower or two. Temperatures will then warm once we get into Sunday and then by next week. So let's take you hour by hour with our futurecast here this evening. Cloud cover continues to clear for us. We'll keep it a partly cloudy sky with some of that patchy fog tomorrow morning. Look what happens though as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Chance for an isolated shower or two just with the heating of the day. And again, we've got some residual moisture. There's an upper level low that'll be swinging across the western Great Lakes, so that might provide enough oomph to get one of those isolated showers or two for the afternoon. Clearing out Saturday night, no problems there. Sunday, we're looking mostly dry, but later in the day, again, with some heating, we might pop up an isolated shower or two. Nothing that'll really wash out plans, but maybe just something you need to keep an eye on the radar, especially down to the south. 7 days worth of weather, it looks like this. Temperatures near 85 degrees on Sunday. We warming up in a big way early next week. After all, it is mid-July, right? So we're back up to near 90 on Tuesday. Humidity does stay low a little bit as we hang on to that northeasterly wind, but by mid to late week, as our wind starts to shift a little more to our south and then eventually to the southwest, we'll bring that humidity up just a bit. So it'll feel a bit more sticky. That ridge of high pressure begins to break down. So with that, we could see an increase in a couple of showers and a few thunderstorms heading mid to late week. But Hannah, Alexis, it's a beautiful night out here tonight. As I mentioned, now that we're getting a little later into the afternoon, evening, a lot more folks coming out. Nice night to be out and about here this evening. Back over to you guys.
Now the Napleton Sports Desk with David Greenberg.
Well, happy Friday, everyone, and what a gorgeous Friday this turned out to be. If you're like me, when the weather is nice like this, all I want to do is spend the afternoon on the golf course. Fortunately, I spent the afternoon on my couch watching others play golf at the 149th Open Championship from across the pond. In these major tournaments, putting is so crucial. Fortunately for fan favorite Rory McIlroy, he hasn't been making enough of putts like these and finished another even par round today. Justin Thomas just barely snuck underneath the cut line. This eagle putt on the 7th hole helped him advance into the weekend. And if you're Jonathan Thompson, sometimes you don't even need the putter. Just pull out your trusty wedge, aim it just past the bunker, and let the ball do the rest. A hole-in-one for the British JT. Round 3 coming up tomorrow. After 36 holes, it's the South African Louis Oosthuizen on top at 11 under par, followed by the youngster Colin Morikawa, who's 2 strokes off the lead. And Jordan Spieth at 8 under in third, followed by a current 3-way tie for fourth with Dustin Johnson, Scotty Scheffler, and Dylan Fratelli. Well, if you're interested in seeing our local golfers compete this weekend is the Aldine Cup. If you're unable to make it out to the course, be sure to tune into Eyewitness News this weekend, where I'll bring you highlights from Saturday and Sunday's rounds. The Cubs, who have already made their first sale ahead of the trade deadline, sending Jock Peterson to the Braves, are in Arizona to kick off the second half of the season. First pitch is at 8:40 tonight. Kyle Hendricks takes the hill for the Cubs. It'll be Madison Bumgarner for the Diamondbacks. The White Sox open at home with a great challenge against the Houston Astros. The Sox have one less win than the Astros, with both teams sitting at the top of their divisions. Dylan Cease leads off on the mound for the Sox to start this second half push towards the postseason. In the NFL, the Bears and Allen Robinson were unable to come to terms on a long-term deal before the deadline yesterday. That means Robinson will play under the franchise tag for the 2021 season, making $17.9 million. Still to be seen as to whether the Bears actually want to sign A-Rob for the long haul, so they may be using this tag as a way to see how he fits in the offense with new quarterback Justin Fields. Sticking in the receiver world, Packers wideout Davante Adams was ranked the league's top pass catcher by a wide margin in a recent anonymous NFL poll of executives, coaches, scouts, as well as fellow players. While this doesn't mean much, it's something Davante will definitely be able to use to trash talk on Sundays. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back. I'm live down here at City Market in downtown Rockford. Gorgeous night. The sun, as I mentioned, is starting to come out here. I'm rethinking my pants selection, though. Should have worn some shorts out there. Getting a little warm as those temperatures are in the 70s. But the crowd, that's really filling in here this evening. It is going to be a gorgeous night tonight. No matter what you've got going on, you can come down here, maybe just have a fire in the backyard. It'll be a very comfortable night for that. No threat for rain for us this evening. Our first warning interactive radar that brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Showers, thunderstorms, those are staying down to the south for us this evening, as temperatures tonight will drop down into the low 60s. Those numbers currently in the mid and upper 70s. The breeze we've had from the northeast, that'll die down just a little bit here this evening. Temperature tomorrow up near 82 for the afternoon. Could see an isolated shower pop for the afternoon. Drying out Saturday night. Sunday mid 80s for us again. Shower possible, especially to the south and to the southeast. Temperatures then will warm into the upper 80s by early next week, near 90 for Tuesday.
Thanks, Janice. Note to self, wear shorts.
Good idea. I know the rain's been good for us, but I'm really happy to see temperatures like that, especially for the weekend, people to get outside.
I love the heat. Well, thanks for making us your home team.
We'll see you back here at 6.